Yep. I got it.
It's the show that the people ask for. It's Keeping It Real Sports. I am your host. I am Steve Taylor, joined by my main man, Andy Sands out of the Sandman. What's up, Sandman?
What's going on, Steve? We got a lot to get to. It was an exciting first week in the NFL, and I'm just so glad football season's here. So let's get it cranking.
Man, talk to me about what jumped out to you first this week in the NFL.
Oh, man, I don't know where to
before
start.
we could, man, because we're going to break it down.
Well, we always break it down.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, we know that's coming. But
right.
I think the thing that jumped out to me were the success of the quarterbacks that went to new teams. I think that was probably the lead story of week one for me. How about you?
Cowboys might be better than I thought, man. You know.
There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you do not recall, I picked Dallas to win the division last week.
I said the Washington football team, and I'm not backing off of it. But
That's fine. But I will say this: the Giants are at the bottom. I'm changing it. Philly's not going to be at the bottom.
No. But you like the Giants, though. Remember?
No. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm eating crow, whatever you want to call it. I'm backing out on that one. All my other picks, I'll stand by, but that one, no, we're done with that.
Yeah,
I get a pass on that one. I get a pass on that one.
We'll bail you out on that one, man. You will bail
you
out.
Let's get to it. We got a lot of show to go.
We got so much to go to, man. So, man, with that said, bro, man, hey, man, let's just open it up. Let's get to hurry up, man. Man, we're gonna give you 3 topics, man, in fast pace, man. And my first topic to you will be the U.S. Open. Andy, take us there.
I mean, I watched as many matches as I could. It was one of the most spectacular nights I can remember in a very long time. The story obviously was with Djokovic get 21, but I was more impressed with the 2 teenagers in the women's finale, I think, than anything else. I don't think we're ever going to see that again, Steve. I really don't. To see somebody that was ranked 150th, had to, by the way, win 3 matches just to get in the tournament and then not drop a set. I mean, that's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in a sport that, I've been playing since I was 12 years old. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would have loved to seen the GOAT get 21, but, Medvedev was just too much. And I think Novak finally allowed the grand scheme of what that match was to catch up with him. And mentally, I think there was a block there during that match. And that's why he got beaten straight sets. But it was so much fun to watch. I mean, I saw some of the greatest matches I've ever seen. And, I can't wait till next September. It's going to be just as awesome, I'm sure. But those 2 teenagers, they're going to carry the women's game for a while if they keep playing like that. There's no question.
Well, that, and I got my eye on the kid from Florida, Coco Gauff, who played in the women's doubles final. She came up short, but she was there. The thing I'm getting at with Coco, she started to understand. She started to figure this out. She ain't but 16, dude. So when she figured this thing out, good luck with you.
Right.
Okay. But going back to the men's final.
Yeah, I think the difference.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I think the difference for Coco is that the competition is going to keep pace with her. Whereas when Venus and Serena were that young and they stepped it up, nobody was ready for that. But now I think the competition's a lot different and it's deeper and more challenging.
I definitely agree. It's definitely
so she's not just going to walk into 24 majors like Serena did. No. Competition.
No, but what I'm saying is this train is coming. This train is definitely coming.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, she's got the game. And the thing that's really important, Steve, for somebody like her at such a young age, she has the right people around her to help her make the decisions that are going to be necessary for her to be successful.
Yeah. Just keep your eyes on that Coco Gauff. Going back to the men's finale. You remember I got a call from a good friend of mine named Sandman is like, Steve, Djokovic is losing to a kid. And I'm like, RELAX. Remember I told you that?
Yeah.
The Joker
that was an
is the Joker
segment. That's
and if you're not willing, if you're not able to take your game from here to here, you're not gonna beat the Joker. And Medvedev did that.
Yes.
So let's go out of there, man, and let's move on to boxing, man. This is what I like now. Listen,
it's all you.
Listen to me, my man. When I tell you, pound for pound, the best fighter alive is not Canelo Alvarez. Y'all can kill that. I've had people try to debate me. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop. You remember I told you about squinting? When you squint, you can see whatever the hell you want to see. I'm telling you what the real is.
You want to see. Right.
Bud Crawford is pound for pound the best fighter. So they finally got somebody who said, I will fight him. See, the problem is nobody wants to get in the ring with this dude. You feel me? See,
Caleb Plant, know how good he is.
Caleb Plant, he couldn't wait to get in the ring, man. He's been calling out Canelo for a long time. And I tell you what, if Canelo thinks he's going to run over Caleb Plant, he's going to be in for a long night. Now, that's not saying Caleb Plant's going to win that fight, but I'm telling you, he ain't no punk, But getting back to the Bud Crawford finally got a guy who step up. So that'll be Showtime Sean Porter. That's going to take place in November. I can't wait to see that, man. I just love to see Bud. He, to me, is the one fighter alive that whatever you can do, he can adjust. I've seen it. He'll buffer for a moment, but when he locks in like a computer, it's OVA. Your thoughts?
I mean, I gotta trust you on this one. I mean, I'll be getting into boxing more because of our show, but I've never really been able to get into it before. But if Steve Taylor says that he's the best boxer, then 100% agree that he's the best boxer. For those generic boxing fans like myself and maybe some others that are watching, what would be more of who does he remind you of that would be maybe a more recognizable name?
That's just it, Andy. He does.
Where you see his style, the way that he strategizes throughout the match. That's what makes him who he is.
Exactly, because he has the adaptability to be able to do whatever you're trying to do just a little bit better. That's what I'm telling you. That's what makes him so special. Bud Crawford is the man, and nobody wants to fight him. That tells you how good he is.
That's right.
Man, I tell you.
That should be a hell of a fight in November then.
Yeah.
That should be a hell of a fight in November.
It should be. Looking forward to that. Good golly, Miss Molly, man. Let's talk about college football. Let's get into it, man. Let's just kind of segue into that thing, man. Again, we kind of started looking at the trend, so to speak, in college football, and we said we'll give you this week. We're going to give you a college top 10, how it really is, not how the AP got it, not how the damn coaches voted. I'll tell you what I've seen with these, all four of these. That's how we're gonna give it to you. But before that, man, I've got the three topics we got to talk about, man. I mean, we just got to talk about. And let's start off with the state of the Trojans, man. USC. Give me your thoughts on the state of the USC Trojans. Firing Clay Helton in the middle of the season. I mean, you got alumni like Keyshawn Johnson going off, losing his mind.
I mean, honestly, Steve, ever since Steve Sarkisian left that program, it hasn't been the same, right? I mean, they had a guy.
Wait. Who?
Sarkisian.
Huh.
Steve Sarkisian.
How many Pac-10 championships did Sarkisian win?
I mean, I don't remember.
I'm saying I'm going to go back to the program hasn't been right since the Clapper, Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll.
Ain't been right since Pete Carroll.
Okay. Well, I'll give you that, but here's what I think. I mean, they had to fire Clay Helton after that game. You can't coach those kids after that display. That was horrendous. There's no question about it. I think here's what I think. Okay, and I've always said this. I respect the hell out of anybody that can play college sports and make it to the ultimate level, the NFL, right? But if you think you're that damn good and you know what that program needs, then shut your ass up and go take the fucking job yourself, and let's see what you can do.
Okay.
That's how I feel about Keyshawn Johnson going off on USC. Shut your ass up. Get yourself off that network that has too many analysts in the first place, and go walk the walk. That's what I say.
Man, the man got a point, man. I mean, man, look, you can't go get housed by Clay Helton. And you remember I sat here a week ago and I told you when it's all said and done, it's going to be UCLA, and I still believe that. You know,
I'm with you on that. We've been on that same page since day one. We knew they were going to win the Pac-12.
Yeah, you know, but the Pac-12 has definitely got credibility now with what happened in Columbus last week, which brings me to my next
what happened in
point.
Columbus last week.
You know, but let's finish the state of USC first. Let's finish the state of USC. You know, there are big names that are rumored for that job. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, you know, of course, Urban Meyer's name came up. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, he just took the job in Jacksonville. I would say if he had been there maybe a year or two,
Urban will get sick on your ass.
And they wanted to try to pull him back to the. You cannot get any credibility ever again in the NFL if you leave right now. So he has to make sure that if he really wants to coach the NFL, he stays with sunshine and he sees this thing through.
he better, because that won't be a good look. But you know, Urban will get sick on your ass. I mean, I'm just saying, you know. Yeah. But I tell you the name that I think that is the most intriguing to me, and he's from that area, and it makes a lot of sense. Is Eric Public Bieniemy. Why Eric Bieniemy don't have a damn job in the NFL is a damn joke. That's a damn joke in the first place. So why? I mean, it's only 5 of those jobs, man, in America.
He really realistically,
jobs.
Right.
You know, and USC is one of them. You know, so if USC is serious about changing this culture, why not go with a guy like Eric Bieniemy, who has NFL credibility, who can start to bring the NFL, the recruits who want to go to the league, keep them away from the Clemsons of the world, keep them away from the Alabamas of the world, keep them away from the Ohio States of the world, and keep some of them kids in town and in state. You know, that's what it's all about, man. You got to win that recruiting thing, man. And at least Eric Bieniemy gives you that.
And I think a lot of young African-American players in California would want to play for an African-American coach. I think that would go a very long way as far as keeping some of those guys there in state. But you're absolutely right, Steve. That's why they haven't been successful, is because they're letting their own talent get away. Look at how many talented players from California went up north to Oregon in the same conference. You cannot allow that to happen and expect to win your conference.
Absolutely. Hey, man, you're listening.
All right, now back to.
Go ahead.
That's right. We always keep it real.
Now
we don't want to talk about this, but we have to talk about it.
Okay.
And I have to say that I do believe I warned you prior to Saturday that result could happen. Did I not?
Well, yeah. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I really did.
I didn't. That's why I warned you.
But see, I sat and I watched, and it dawned on me that it wasn't those kids. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to bash any of those kids because they're only doing what they're told. See, some coaches put their kids in positions to be successful, to win. Mm-hmm. And some coaches just put their kids in position. And that's absolutely what this damn idiot Kerry Combs is doing, and I'm not gonna hold Al Washington unresponsible for this shit too. Because see, he decides when you decide to put a damn running back in and linebacker on a third down situation on the damn goal line. Are you flipping kidding me?
I mean, talk about the ultimate head scratcher.
I mean, come on, man. Yeah. I mean, they got beat by the same play 3 times. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But the third time, the same damn play.
He should have had to turn in his headset on the sideline, Steve. That's how awful he is as a defensive coordinator.
Well, Ryan Day vowed to make changes, and he needs to make them. He can't make them fast enough, as far as I'm concerned. You know, he can't make them fast enough. I expect there to be a different set of eyes up in the booth. I expect to be a different philosophy. Coincidentally, 3 Buckeyes lost a black stripe this week, and they were all defensive players, and one was 300 pounds. I'm just trying to tell you what to expect to see in the next coming weeks. And we're watching you, Kerry Combs, this Saturday, because
I mean, it's a home game.
Ohio State scores, if the other team scores more than 3, buddy, walk your ass home.
Well, I mean, 3 is that's a little 3. Okay, you can go with
shit. 3.
You can go with 3. I'll go with 10 or 17. Only because it's such a young defense.
17 is too many. Way too many.
All right, 10. I'll go with 10.
3.
You take your 3. I'm taking 10.
You look at it and say 0.
That's unrealistic, even for Alabama or Clemson. Yeah. Come on now, or Penn State.
We're watching you. Texas,
the way their defense is playing lately, but
Texas Longhorns.
You have to remember. You have to remember real quick. You have to remember that 80% of that defense are freshmen. So just remember that. So all right, Texas. Wow, were you wrong about them?
What? Wow. Well, see, you know, this is the Steve Sarkisian that you so eagerly brought up earlier.
All right.
And I'm glad you brought him up because, see, it reminds me that I really don't believe in this dude. You picking up what I'm putting down? You know, I don't believe in you because, see.
I'm totally picking it up.
What? You get housed by Arkansas last week, 40-21, but the quarterback that you decided to play, Steve Sarkisian, Hudson Card. Okay, let me tell you this. Hudson Card, last 10 drives, Andy, 1 touchdown, 5 punts, 1 missed field goal, and 3 turnovers. That's who you chose. Now, let me tell you, his counterpart, who Steve Sarkisian could have put in and says, coincidentally, he's going to start him on Saturday. Casey Thompson, last 10 drives, 7 touchdowns, 1 field goal, 1 punt, and the clock ran out on him. Okay, so you talk to me about Steve Sarkisian.
Listen, he's another one of those guys that is a better coordinator than a head coach.
Okay.
And I don't know why Texas went the direction they went. I thought Tom Herman maybe didn't deliver the way that they expected him to, but I also thought that he took them from a place that they never should have been to a more, respectable place than they were. I mean, yes, they expect championships. I get all that. But it comes, again, what does it always come back to in college sports? Recruiting. And Tom Herman could recruit. That's why they hired him. But he didn't live up to that part of the billing. Okay, right. I get that. But look, Texas is one of those 5 jobs, is it not? Can we agree on that?
It used to be.
Used to be. All right, maybe it used to be. But think. I mean, just you have to just drool at the amount of talent that's right there around you if you get that job. And you cannot, it's just like we talked about with USC, you can't let that go to Alabama, Florida, Ohio State, Clemson, Auburn, Michigan. I mean, you can't allow those guys to leave your state. That's what made you who you were when you had the Vince Youngs and the Ricky Williams and everybody like that. You got those guys to stay right where they were. They haven't done it since. That's why they haven't been successful. It's exactly why. Look at Nebraska. Perfect example. They have done a horrible job of recruiting in the last 15 years. Therefore, they have fallen off the face of the earth in the last 15 years.
No,
they sniffed it a little bit.
Hell they asked for, Andy. They wanted to be in the Big Ten. You got it. And the same thing with what I'm trying to tell you about Texas. You want to be in the SEC? Well, guess who you got your ass kicked by on Saturday? That was right. The SEC team, by the way.
That's right.
And you got a whole lot more ass kicking coming because that was the bottom of the SEC. Our Kansas dropped the whole house on you. Just say.
They've got a long way to go, just like USC.
Yeah.
So,
boy, how the mighty have
fallen.
So, Andy, that brings me to the real top 10 teams in college football.
All right, let me hear it. Who you got? I'm ready.
Number 10, the UCLA Bruins from the Pac-12.
So far, I'm with you.
Number 9, the Aggies of Texas A&M.
Okay.
Number 8, the Cincinnati Bearcats and the Water Boy. I mean, I tell you what, boy, the Buckeyes really miss his ass now, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. And speaking of the Buckeyes, I have them number 7.
Okay.
Number 6, I have the Iowa Hawkeyes. And that's out of respect to their program and what they've done. I know what they're capable of, but you're going to have to show me more than scoring 2 touchdowns a week on defense. You're going to have to show me a little bit more. But I'm going to give you the respect right now. That's why I got them number 6. Number 5.
But their defense is why you have them at number 6.
Yeah, well, hell, they scoring 2 touchdowns a game. I got to give them love. You know.
Exactly.
Number 5, I have the Oregon Ducks. I mean, you can say what you want. Them coaches outcoached Ohio State last week, buddy.
No
they
question.
Outcoached them. And for them to come into environment like Columbus and win, they got to give them that. So right now, out of sheer respect, I'm going to give them that. I got them number 5. Number 4, I've got the Clemson Tigers. Hey, man, Brent Venables, it's the reason why he's the highest paid assistant in college football because he can flat out coach. He flat out coaches the defense, man.
That's right.
You know, and, you know, you don't let them guys get away. You know, you take the water boy. Don't you think that Brent Venables could have a team in the top 10 like Luke Fickell? You see,
I mean,
pay the man.
Brent Venables would be a very good candidate for USC.
Yeah, but they're not going to let him go. They know better.
But they're not going to pay him, right? That's right.
That's the point I'm making. You take care of yours. I got the Clemson Tigers at number 4. Number 3, I've got Spencer Rattler and the Oklahoma Sooners. I think Lincoln Riley is flat out the best play caller in all of college football. You know, Rattler said some things that kind of ruffled my feathers a couple weeks ago when he said Tulsa was one of the hardest hitting teams that he's ever played against. I'm like, dude,
Tulane.
I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You know, boy, wait till you get into the SEC and then tell me that. But I got them number 3, man, because of Lincoln Riley. Number 2, the Georgia Bulldogs. That defense is for real. They finally got a Kirby Smart. Look like he finally got it right. And then number 1 is, I mean, you know, that's Texas and Alabama football.
I can't argue with the 10. I might have maybe moved 1 or 2 around, but we're on the same page as far as who the 10 are. I am so glad, and I should have known that you're this intelligent, that you did not put the most overrated program in the history of college football in the top 10, even though they're technically there right now in Notre Dame. I watched that game because I went to Toledo, obviously, but and they're not Steve, they're not even a top 15 team. the way they've played these first 2 weeks.
They're
not. I don't. The name itself is why they are where they are. You and I both know that.
We sat here just a week ago, and you said, I'm impressed with what they did, and I said, bullshit. I called bullshit. I said they were the most fraudulent team in America, and they might get their ass kicked on later on today. They might get their ass kicked.
But now, you prove they proved that last week. That's why I'm coming back to your side on this. I'm no longer on the.
You're not squinting anymore.
I'm not squinting. Look, wide open. They're wide open now, Steve. I see the light. Notre Dame is not going to be in a playoff.
I didn't know. No kidding. No kidding.
By the way, I will say this, and I hate to say it because you know how much I love my Buckeyes. But if anybody from Ohio gets to the playoff, it's going to be Cincinnati.
No, Cincinnati's going to have their hands full later on as they take on Iowa, Indiana, the Hoosiers, and they're traveling to Indiana. That's going to be a real good game. And that's only
today.
Like 4.
That's today.
Yes.
They're in Indiana today. But
yes.
I think that this is a statement game, even though Indiana's 1-1. This is a statement game for Cincinnati, and I think you'll see why I said that after this game today.
Oh, boy. Can I mark that one down?
You can mark it down.
Lock it up.
I'm not saying – here's the thing. I want to clarify something, okay? I'm not saying they will be in the playoff. What I'm saying is if an Ohio team gets into the playoff, it will be Cincinnati.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. Okay. All right, Andy, listen, I got 3 games that we're going to pick. We're going to do it every week, man. This one here is going to be against the spread. We're going to run a tally on this, man, all season. And guess who happened to be the champion last year? Yeah. Yours truly. Because you frowned so much in our pre-show production meeting, I decided to put in the Notre Dame Purdue game, so we're gonna have an and one this week. So Notre Dame Purdue.
Okay. So here's why I wanted to put that game in there. You ready?
I'm ready.
I've got the numbers. Hang on, I'm bringing them up. Both teams are 2-0.
Right.
All right. The spread is 7. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take Purdue. I'm taking Purdue to cover. I'm taking Purdue to cover. The spread is Notre Dame by 7. I'm taking Purdue to cover. Here's why. They've averaged 40 points a game. They've only given up 11. Okay. They're averaging almost 500 yards of offense. When's the last time we've ever said that about Purdue? Drew Brees, right?
Right.
Okay.
Who will be doing the game later on, by the way.
Which is hilarious to me. So that should be entertainment in and of itself. How many times we should have a we counter? We should have for next week's show. We should have a we counter. How many times he slips and says we?
Yeah.
Seriously, mark it down. All right.
Okay.
All right. Here's who they've played. The last 5, they beat Oregon State. Not anything to write home about, but it's still a Big 5 school, right? And then anybody can beat Connecticut right now, so I'm not impressed with that. But Notre Dame won in overtime against Florida State, who, by the way, just laid an egg, right? And then, granted, Toledo's a good football team. They're probably going to win the MAC. But, Steve, at home, your home opener.
On the struggle bus.
You should win that game by at least 17 points.
On the struggle bus.
Yeah. So I'm going with Purdue to cover. How about you?
I like that. Andy. I'm going to. I might take Purdue to flat out win because, man, Notre Dame is who I thought they were. Brian Kelly, dude, I'm tired of it.
We're picking against the spread, so that's why I'm taking them.
Yeah, so I'll take.
We're picking.
Give me Purdue. Give me Purdue.
All right, so we're both on Purdue.
We're both on Purdue. Here's the one that I really, really like, Andy. You've got Michigan State going to Miami to play the Hurricanes. Michigan State is a 6-point underdog, man. Who you like, man?
This to me, this was the hardest game to pick, right? Michigan State has found something, with these first couple of games, but I just can't see Miami losing this game at home. I'm going to have to take Miami to cover. There's a reason I think Miami was in the top 10 or top 15, I think it was in the preseason. This game, it would be a statement game for the Big Ten. If Michigan State goes down there and wins this game, this is a Big Ten statement. But 91 degrees is the game time temperature. I think that favors Miami's. So I'm going to take them to cover. I'll take Miami +6.
Andy, you take Miami's the favorite. Miami's a 6-point favorite.
No, okay. I'm going to take Miami to cover.
Okay. I like Michigan State to win.
Okay.
To win.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to give me 6?
Listen, I said this was the hardest game to pick.
Here's why I feel like Michigan State's going to win. One, because you remember they had Miami in the top 25 before the season started, and then they went out and got their ass kicked by Alabama. Okay, no big deal. No big deal. But that shit that they did against Appalachian State last week, okay, because they should have lost again. They should have lost again. Okay, Michigan State is going to bring, they're going to bring lumber. Okay, one thing about Mel Tucker, one thing that he's brought and he's preached, he's brought defense and he's brought accountability and he's brought toughness. And that's one thing they're going to do. They're going to hunker down. They're going to run the damn ball. You ain't going to have to guess where they're going to be at because he's coming right at you. They're coming right at you. And I tell you what, Hurricanes, it's going to be long. It's going to be hot. And, man, there's going to be some long drives. Good luck stopping the Spartans. I like the Spartans to win, but you're going to give me the 6. Give me Sparty.
Okay. All right. I'll give you the 6 on that one. And then what we got? Who's our last game?
No, we've got 2 more games because we.
Oh, you said +1. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we've got the whiteout. Penn State, Auburn, coming to town, getting 6 points. Who do you like? The Cats or the Dogs?
Well, this is a night game, right?
Right.
You and I both know how difficult it is to win in that stadium, especially at night, right? SEC, Big Ten. This, to me, proves whether or not Penn State can hang this year in the discussion of the Big Ten championship and potentially the playoff. Because I know how unreal that stadium is going to feel after COVID last year and how much they want that whiteout to be in full force. I hesitate, but I'm going to take Auburn to cover, but I'm going to say Penn State will win the game, but I think it's going to only be by 2 or 3. This is going to be a really close game. I think Auburn's going to cover, but Penn State wins.
This one was the hardest game because I do know how it's like to play in that stadium.
Yeah.
In a whiteout at night. I know what it's like. Bo Nix is going to find out what it's like. The Auburn Tigers aren't the Auburn Tigers that used to be. Penn State is coming. They got Noah Cain back, the running back. They've got playmakers on the outside. They always, and them linebackers they got are filthy. They are filthy. They got playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. I like Penn State. I'm going to take Penn State.
I was close to doing that, Steve, especially because going back to the bowl game and last year, they've won 5 in a row now. You know what? Now that I look at that, I'm gonna be with you on this one. You know what? I'm gonna change my pick. I'm gonna go with Penn State to cover and win, not just win but cover. So so you and I are 2 for 3 on agreement so far. We got Purdue covering, probably winning, and then we've got. I'm with you. I'm gonna take Penn State because you know what? Now that I see that and I'm reminded of that, and they beat they beat some good teams in that stretch. Michigan State,
Wisconsin.
And Auburn's last 5, they lost to Northwestern in the bowl game, and Texas A&M last year. So, and Auburn hasn't played anybody yet. Penn State has. So I'm changing my pick. I'm going Penn State.
Okay. The last game is features the Alabama Crimson Tide going to Florida, giving up 14 on the road.
It's a rivalry game.
Yeah.
We know that. Right. It's in the swamp. Tough place to play. But when have 2 quarterbacks ever beat Nick Saban? Never. So Alabama looked unstoppable against Miami. I think they keep rolling. I'll take Alabama to cover.
Yeah, man, this one is pretty easy, man. You got to take Alabama. You got to take Alabama. Man, this could be all bad for Florida in the swamp too. Man,
and this could be over at halftime, Steve. Realistically, if Alabama plays the way they did against Miami, it's going to be out of reach at halftime. Man. That's how good they are.
That's just what they do, man. It's just what they do. And this is what we do, man. We're gonna bring
that's right.
Man. We're gonna tell it like it TI is, man. And that's gonna get us to our next topic, man. That's gonna be the NFL. And man, and before we even get started, here, I got a couple of things. Quick segment where we were right and where we were wrong.
All right.
Okay? And right away, just saying where we were right, especially my take in particular on the Cleveland Browns. I said that by week 7 or 8, you really ain't going to want to deal with these dudes. I said defensively, 90% of the time, they're going to be in the right places, but because they don't have the continuity right now, it's that 10% that I'm worried about. And then you saw they got beat on the broken play over the top. It's those type of things that made me very, very leery of picking the Cleveland Browns last week against Patrick Mahomes, as well as they played. And I think they learned a bona fide lesson last week that you just can't play 58 minutes. You got to play 60 minutes, especially against that dude.
That's
right.
What
I'm saying,
against
that dude, 58 minutes ain't going to get it done.
And if I'm not mistaken, we both said they can't. Yeah, and we both, if I'm not mistaken, we both said Kansas City would win that game. Cleveland was just going to play a very strong game, which they did. Right. And speaking of strong game, can we talk about how great Baker Mayfield was? Everybody wants to talk about the last play. He was trying to throw that ball out of bounds. If you understand the game of football,
dude was on the rope, man.
That he played his ass off last week. And if he does that again, he'll be in the MVP discussion if he keeps doing that every week.
Man, just got to be baked, man. That's it.
That's right.
Man.
That's right.
Like he is the catalyst. He is the point guard to this thing, man. And as long as he understands that, they'll be just fine.
It's like Myles Garrett said this week. I'll follow 6 wherever he takes us.
And that's what he's going to have to do.
That's exactly how it's going to be all year long. And by the way, Nick Chubb doesn't fumble, so that was also part of the problem.
Yeah, and then Tim dropped the ball, man. Dude, catch the damn ball. Bake put it where he's supposed to catch. Catch the damn ball, you win the game. Period, in the story. But
that's right.
That's where we were right. Where we were wrong, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills, because I tell you what, them damn Steelers, that defense, my gosh. And I knew that Melvin Ingram was going to make a difference, but damn, I'm going to pump the brakes on the Buffalo Bills right now. I'm going to give them a pass because Pittsburgh really played a great game. They played a perfect game. And one thing we didn't take into consideration, Mike Tomlin always got his guys ready to play. If you beat Pittsburgh, it's because you're better than Pittsburgh that day. It ain't because they're not well prepared.
What I saw last week leads me to think that maybe we had the division incorrect. Maybe it's Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. But it's a long season. We can't really backtrack our picks this early. Although I'm backing out of the Giants. That one I give in on. That was way off on that. But we've already established that I get a pass on that one. But but Pittsburgh looked strong. I still think that, eventually as the season goes on, Steve, Roethlisberger's age is going to catch. He didn't throw any deep balls. Did you notice that? I mean, everything he threw was within 20 yards.
Andy, what I'm trying to tell you is that Ben Roethlisberger is at a point, and
but that defense is going to win them a lot of games.
He has a defense. All he has to do is not fuck it up, Andy. He's got a defense and special teams that can bail him out. They're strong on all sides of the ball, man. All they got to do is just not fuck it up.
And they have a running back, which is something that they've been missing the last 3 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, just where we were right and where we were wrong, man. That's just something that I thought of, man, today, and I hope you like that. Hey, man, look here. Give me your top 5 NFL teams as you see it after week 1.
And I've got to go Kansas City 1. I've got to go with the Rams at 2. I think I would go with let's see. I think you're not going to like this, but I'd probably have the 49ers at 3. And then I'm thinking just because of the way they played, I mean, you almost have to put Steelers in there after week 1, and then obviously I'm not backing off on the Browns, so I'll put them at 5. But again, it's one game. I know I left Tampa Bay out. I get that, but you asked me for my 5. That I'm not going to be the same old analyst and just throw Tampa Bay up there because they are Tampa Bay. We know they are Tampa Bay, but I like being a little different. I like living on the edge a little bit. So I'll give you those 5. Those would be my 5, only because you asked for after week 1. That's not overall. That's after week 1. I want to clarify that.
Okay, now I'm gonna give you my 5. Number 1, I'm gonna give it to you 1 through 5. And George, I mean, I can be dramatic about it and give you 5 through 1, and I will. How about that? At 5, I have to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Based off of what they done this past week. Okay. Got to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. At number 4, I cannot be remiss and not look at what the Seattle Seahawks did on the road in their opening game, especially with that defense, being able to wreak havoc. Russ being Russell, just throwing 4 tubs all over the place, man.
Can we just give him the MVP? I mean, he keeps playing like this.
Wait, pump the brakes on that, man. That's the early season MVP. He usually peters off as the season goes along. But
I understand that.
But right now I'd have them number 4. Number 3, I'd have my beloved Rams. I love what Matthew Stafford does. He gives them the shit feels real, man. It feels different. It feels totally different. McVay can utilize his entire playbook. And you saw it on display last week.
Right.
Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. You got to give them number 2. And then number 1 is Tom Brady now. I mean, like, man, dude.
Okay.
I mean, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. Until somebody beat them dudes, last time I checked, Tom Brady them was the champion. And I said them. I said Tom Brady them. That's what I said.
I got you.
So that's how I got it, man. Andy, before we get out of here, man, let's do rapid fire, man, on this week's NFL games, man. Well, the one game that we probably both are going to agree on is going to be what? The Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since we've won a home opener, but I just don't see us losing this game.
No, man, I like the Cleveland Browns, man, to be able to.
And Tyrod Taylor last week was a fluke. I'm not buying that.
Huh? What? You know what, man? Tyrod
Taylor winning in Jacksonville was a fluke. He's not going to be able to do all that this week.
Okay, I'm pulling out. I got everything pulled up. Okay, so interesting game. Raiders. Steelers, they travel to Pittsburgh, man, to play the Steelers, man, in a 1 o'clock matchup, man. Who'd you like?
You're going to be surprised at this, but they really don't play the Raiders very well. But that's been the trend over the last 3 or 4 years. This time, I think that stops, and I can't see them losing their home opener after going to the supposed AFC champions and winning on the road. You can't stop that momentum. Right. And this is how they started last year. Remember, they were 11-0 before they lost 5 straight. So I gotta go with Pittsburgh. I hate saying those words, but I gotta.
Yeah, dude, you gotta keep it real. Keep the shit
real.
Don't
That's what the show's all about, right? We don't play favorites. We play the right answer, and the right answer is Pittsburgh.
So we both agree on the Steelers. We both agree on the Browns over the Texans. 49ers travel on the East Coast. They stayed on the East Coast. They played Detroit last week. They're playing the Eagles this week. Who you got?
Wow, Steve. This is a tough one, I think, because Jalen Hurts looked really good last week. But also Jimmy Garoppolo played well. I mean, people really aren't talking about that a lot, with the whole Trey Lance thing. But there's a reason that he's the starting quarterback. And he showed it last week. I don't think San Francisco is going to turn the ball over, which is what kept that Lions game within reach late in the fourth quarter. I like their defense more than Philly's, so I'll take San Francisco on the road. But they typically do struggle when they travel out east. Yeah. But I think they're going to win. I'll take San Francisco.
Yeah, I'll take the Winers, the 40 Winers myself, man. Let's go Broncos. They're going to travel, man, to take on Trevor Lawrence Sunshine and the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 1 o'clock affair. Who you got?
Well, this is a home opener for Jacksonville. The crowd's going to be into the game. But that Denver defense is something special. We said that all they needed was a quarterback, right, for them to be in the thick of it. Well, they may have found it in Teddy Bridgewater. So I'm going to take Denver on the road.
Yeah. Give me Teddy 2 gloves, man, in the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Man, that defense is for real, man. They have a lot of stars on that team, man. Denver, watch out for that team. They're very dangerous. The Saints, they travel to take on the Carolina Panthers. Who you like?
I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining games of the entire week. New Orleans played one of the best games they've ever played under Sean Payton last week. I think we both can agree on that. We haven't seen them click like that since they won a Super Bowl as far as defense, offense, special teams working all together. Carolina has a solid defense, and Sam Darnold played well. Let's give him some credit. But I picked New Orleans to win the South. They can't win the South if they don't win this game, so I'm going to take New Orleans.
Yeah, Sam Darnold didn't see ghosts this week, and that's a good thing for him. He actually looked like he had
right. He looked like a viable drafting option at quarterback.
Here's the one thing that he never had. He never had an outlet. Well, now he's got an outlet. And he's got a coach that's telling him, Matt Rule, is saying, look, you ain't got to chuck the damn ball down the field, man. You can just check it off, man, into Christian McCaffrey. Could arguably the best running back in the NFL. And that's what he started doing. He checked down to him. Man, let's just take 2nd and 6. Let's take 2nd and 7. That keeps us on schedule. Okay, that said, I love the Saints defense. Their ability to wreck up front. They're really starting to push that pocket. They've got linebackers that are real active, and we know about the New Orleans Buckeyes that play on the back end. I like the New Orleans Saints in this one. That brings us to the Bills, who's traveling.
One thing to keep in mind, though, is they are dealing with some injuries, so we'll have to see if those factor into the game.
Yeah, but that's part of the game. That's part of it. But I tell you what, those dudes. The ass kicking that they put on Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, defense travels. I like them.
That's Buffalo. Why I picked them to win the division.
Buffalo, they're traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins, the dreaded Dolphins, and that Brian Flores defense. Boy, Buffalo had a hard time against Pittsburgh. It don't get any easier this Sunday. Who you got?
It doesn't, but they know that they should have played better last week, and I think that Josh Allen will be better. He better be. Because if he's not, then all the hype is just that hype. It's early. It's week 2. I get it. 17 games, not 16. But after what they did at home, this is a bigger game for Buffalo than it is for Miami. So I think Buffalo wins.
Okay. I'm going to take your analogy of it being 90 degrees in Miami this weekend.
Okay.
I'm going to take that and I'm going to use it to my advantage on this one, because this is a game, the type of game that the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa have to win to show that they're ready to compete. Especially it being a home game, they're going to have to get it done. I like the Miami Dolphins getting it done at home against the Buffalo Bills. That brings us to the Rams traveling to Indy to take on the Colts. The Matt Stafford show was in full effect last week. We saw it unveiled on national TV. Is that thing going to travel?
It's going to travel, and the reason it's going to travel is because Carson Wentz doesn't want to see Aaron Donald, but he's going to a lot, because I have a lot of concerns about that offensive line after the way that they played against Seattle. If Seattle's defense can do that in Indianapolis, then the Rams defense can do it in spades in Indianapolis. So I think the Rams are going to win, and possibly convincingly in doing so.
Yeah. I like the Rams. It's not going to be a cakewalk. Man, they have answers, man, on the offensive line. They have guys like Quentin Nelson, who is looking at trying to play this week. You get a guy like that back that can help solidify that front. That's a matchup that I personally am looking forward to seeing, a Quentin Nelson going up against Aaron Donald. I know how good Aaron Donald is. Mm-hmm. They tell me how good Quentin Nelson is. Well, let me see.
Yeah, and let's hope he plays, because it's better for the game when everybody's obviously healthy.
Right. Yeah,
so we want to see. That's what we want to see.
Yeah,
we want to see the best match.
Bring them.
But I'm with you. Rams all the way. I've got LA in that
one. The New England Patriots, they're traveling to New York to take on the Jets. I can't say that with a straight face. Battle of two rookie quarterbacks. Which one you got?
I'm taking Mac Jones because
Mac
he has the better.
Yeah, Mac 10. Next, let's move on.
He's got the better defense.
The Bengals travel to Chicago to take on the Bears in the home opener. Could be a matchup of former Buckeye quarterbacks.
Yeah, you might see Justin Fields a lot more this week because he doesn't have to fear number 99. If that happens, Steve, Chicago played pretty well for the most part last week until Stafford finally started tearing up the secondary. Bears at home, I think they won in overtime last week because it was a home game. I'm not buying Cincinnati yet. I'm going to take Chicago at home this week.
Man, this one here was a tough game for me because Andy Dalton didn't complete a pass over 10 yards last week. Everything was dink and dunk, trying to get the ball out before the rush of the Rams got home. The Bengals can't get after the quarterback. Let me tell you, Andy, I watched the Cincinnati Bengals, man, and I watched them close, and I tell you, they're dangerous. Don't sleep on the Cincinnati Bengals, man. They didn't just be they wasn't backing down from the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, they played the Vikings, man, tit for tat, and I tell you, they've got an offense that can strike on anywhere in the field, man. Joe Burrow is the real deal, man.
Oh, I'm not questioning that, but remember what division they're in. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Not this year.
But they have. But what I'm telling you is they have the personnel to go into Chicago and get this thing done on Sunday. And you know what? Okay. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to go into Chicago and to get the dub.
All right.
That's going to bring us to the 405 games, man. That's going to bring us to the Falcons playing Tom Brady them.
I mean, this is like picking Alabama, Steve. Tampa Bay, move on.
Yeah, Tom Brady them. The Vikings and the Cardinals. Now, this Kyler Murray thing, man, everybody's got enamored with it. And I tend to agree with Keyshawn Johnson, which I don't do often. But he's right. The Arizona, that's cute. It's cute. He's got the best wide receiver in the game. And he's got probably another Hall of Fame wide receiver. And then he got a bunch of little guys that he throw the ball to. That's cute. But I know how to defeat this guy. You get in his face and you knock him around. The Chandler Jones thing and the 5 sacks, that's not going to happen every week.
No, it's not. And, we didn't even hear J.J. Watt's name last week.
No.
So it's Arizona's home opener. I think, call me crazy, but I'm actually going to take Minnesota.
So
Only because if they can run the ball with Dalvin Cook, Kyler Murray's not on the field. And I think they will be successful in doing so.
You bore them and you beat them.
So I'm taking Minnesota on the road. Plus, I think the sting of losing in overtime, I think is gonna motivate Minnesota this week, and this is a winnable game for them. So I'm taking Minnesota to upset Arizona.
I like them too. That's gonna bring us to the Titans traveling to play the Seattle Seahawks real quick.
12th man, Russell Wilson. I'm not going to say anything else. You're not beating Seattle at home. Not happening. So I'm going to take Seattle. Tennessee's in trouble. Steve, if they lose this game, Tennessee's in trouble. They have to win this game.
Trouble, but they're not going to. Division that they can dig out of this hole, man, because the Colts lose to the Rams and they're all going to. So they're okay. It ain't time to press the panic button yet. Cowboys, they travel out west to take on the Chargers. Who you got?
Let's see. Didn't I say if 4 was healthy, this is a dangerous team? 4's healthy, Steve. Dallas.
Yeah, okay. Dallas is the only team, man, that can hurt themselves, man. This week, man, 2 starters went out in practice, not the game. Practice. We're talking about DeMarcus Lawrence out 6 to 8 weeks. Practice. Okay, man. One thing about the Chargers, they can score points, and they got a defense that can wreck your day. They got a kid named Joey Bosa. You ever heard of him?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They got a safety named Derwin James. He's back this year. I like that defense. Defense travels. I like the San Diego Chargers. They'll always be San Diego in my book. The Chargers to win this one. That's going to bring us to the Sunday night game. Patrick, my homie against the Ravens. Who you like?
If there's one defense that knows how to stop Patrick Mahomes, it's Baltimore. But, I don't like what I saw from Baltimore's offense, and I do like what I saw from Kansas City's defense. And you've been saying it this whole segment, defense travels. Even though there's defense at home, I can't not go with Patrick Mahomes the way he's playing right now.
Right.
And I think Baltimore's still going to be thinking about giving away that game to Las Vegas on the road and having to come all the way back home on a short turnaround. I'm taking Kansas City to go 2-0.
Yeah, man, it's hard to go against my homie. I mean, this dude he's cut from a different cloth, man.
Yeah.
The dude, on a Madden game, I know they say 99. The dude is like 130. Okay, like he's unreal.
He's
man.
special.
Yeah. You don't see that. Yeah. I got the Chiefs. That brings us to Monday night. The Lions. And they said they have a football team in Detroit this year. They lying. The Lions and the Packers.
I mean, has Aaron Rodgers ever lost to Detroit? I don't think he has.
Yeah, he has. Matt Stafford got him, man. But that's not what I'm saying.
Maybe once or twice, but listen, he knows he played like shit last week.
Did he look interested in playing? Did you see the look on his face?
I was concerned about that. Trust me. But he knows because he showed that so much, he's got to come back this week. And Detroit does not play well at Lambeau. This is a no-brainer. It's going to be Green Bay. But I will say this, Steve. I watched the what's it called? The Sounds of Week 1 on YouTube. Dan Campbell, he's fun, man. Like he was in front of all those guys. He was yelling, and the dude is jacked. Like I'm not pissing at him off anytime soon if I'm one of his players, because he's going to be able to put me in my place. But that's what's been missing from that football team is that level of discipline and that level of fire and intensity. They have it, but it isn't going to matter against Green Bay because Green Bay is going to win the game.
Man, it's too much. I mean, no. Jared Goff is exactly what I thought he was, man. He checked down Charlie, refused to really look down the field, man. He doesn't trust what he sees, man. And that's the one thing about him. That's the difference between him and Matthew Stafford. Why I feel like Matthew Stafford and McVay is going to make such a great pairing, because this guy, man, has answers to the test, and he's not afraid to use them. Jared Goff had the answers to the test and was scared to show that he had them, you know, and that's just it. Man, I tell you, man, that was fast, man.
It was fast.
The
it
fastest
always is.
moving hour in sports talk. Man, I appreciate every last one of you guys who watched the show. Make sure you watch the show. Click that like button, man. Make sure you click that like button. You got to help us go viral, because there's a lot of people that want this. This is the show that the people ask for. You asked for it. You got it. I'm the real sports guy, Steve Taylor. He is the Sandman, Andy Sanzada. And of course, this is Keeping It Real Sports. Until next time, we wish you peace and love.